Hey, welcome back, folks. Weather has been so cool here lately that with a little bit of rain as well, that I have some wine cap mushrooms starting to come out of this bed, which I did not expect, not at all, this time of the year, especially because I don't typically get them this time of the year. So it's really important to take a look around while you're doing some harvesting to see what is going on to get a really good feel. And I think there's some more. Yeah, there's some more over here that are just starting to break ground as well. But what at least was on the order was to pick some broccoli. You see here, this broccoli I had to pick because it was just the optimum time to pick it. And as well, we're going to take a look and talk about squash. So let's take a look at our yellow squash. So we have a few varieties out here, but I think primarily what we're going to look at now is yellow. And you see we have some here, and I don't know, like I said, we've got straight and crook neck, and we have some other spots here. Excuse my finger in the way of the camera. So I'm going to go through and cut at least the ones that are a lot larger than they should be, or at least getting that size to where they're going to be problematic. So here's one that I will cut. I'll probably store the rest of these on the vine, although there's one down there that's going to be in an awkward spot. We'll see what else we find. I know there's a lot more over there, but some of them look to be a bit young. So what is the strategy that I have with squash? And that is I plant it everywhere because there's a problem that a lot of people have with this type of squash. And what happens every year is we get this thing called powdery mildew. And the powdery mildew comes, and there's all kinds of different ways that people use to try to get rid of it. And at the end of the day, I say I highlight the term try to get rid of it because my strategy for dealing with it, and like I said, you get a lot of fungus and rot. So one strategy is to make sure that you spend the time to go throughout and pick things like this out and get rid of them. Some people say never throw it in your compost because of the type of, because it is just going to spread a specific type of fungus. And another strategy is to make sure you don't let it go too long. Get too many lumps on there. What kind of spider is that? But get too many lumps on there. So as much as you want to store this stuff on the vine, it is important to make sure that it does not stay on too long. I used to know a guy who would always look at my squash and he would beg to pick them at this stage because he did a lot of cooking. I think he even worked as a chef at one period. And he would always say that this was the best time to pick them because of taste when they were really, really small. Maybe not as small as some of the ones you've seen here, but, when they're smaller, and I would say probably closer or more akin to what you see here. So, say, for example, this guy should grow a little while longer, I think. But here again, here's something that is starting to rot at the end. I'm just going to get rid of that. So there's a little bit of maintenance that you want to do with your squash. But in terms of powdery mildew, what I do is I just plant a lot of it, and I assume I plant so much that I can harvest a lot. And I just assume that after it runs its course, it's going to we're going to get the powdery mildew, and it's going to kill the plant. And this is something that I deal with every year, so I plant more and more squash because of that. And I take a similar attitude with zucchini, what you see in here, and we'll talk about that later. But you really have to get in and pay attention to your zucchini as well, because if they get too large, then they're not, the best tasting. They're still edible, but there's a fine line with zucchini where you want to get it to where it tastes the best. And I see one on the other side that I need to keep an eye on. So that is my squash strategy. More than anything, the strategy is to pick it before it gets too big. Plant a lot of it because you're going to lose some to powdery mildew. And prune any bad, when you see the slightest sign of any of the fruit taking on any kind of mold, get rid of it and toss it. So you kind of have to pay attention and do a little pruning. Anytime you have a whole bunch of fruit, like you see here, to where they're just all over the place, don't expect all of these to come to fruition. Unless you really want to take caution to feeding it, watching out for fungus and everything of that nature. When I say feeding it, making sure it has plenty of what it needs as far as everything that it eats. And there's little tricks to that. Some people use antacids to, supplement as well. That's kind of a common thing that you will see. So in either event, this is a little bit longer of a video than I wanted to make, but it's, just about squash strategies. And you can see I'll have to keep an eye because there's plenty more in here to pick. And I guess this would be that really, really delicious size right there. And I may actually pick those within the next few days, the two that are down low there. So that's that. Just picking a few items that naturally are going to become meals, and enjoying the first full day, or second full day, I guess you could call it, of summer, because we had the summer solstice yesterday. And there again with the broccoli we talked about before. I had a head that I picked that I let go a little bit too long, so I decided to pick these when they were going to taste the best. And that's right at this stage that you see it now. All right, guys, have a good one.